Chapter 34. Augustine saw the Mitsubishi Colt as soon as they turned the corner. He made eye contact with Ash and then nodded his head over to the vehicle. "There," was the only word he said before walking off in the direction of the car, checking it out. The passenger side door wasn't locked, so Augustine opened and then proceeded to open the glove compartment too. The logbook confirmed what he had thought all along. It was registered in the name of Marcus Bright, at the address above his head. "Ash, this is the place. I'm sure of it." Augustine walked up the stairs carefully, straining his ears to listen at the door as he got to within a few steps of the summit. There were muffled screams coming from inside. Ash heard them too, and his shoulder made contact with the flimsy door, splintering the frame and sending the two detectives into the property. The darkness was intense, blackout curtains shielding light from every possible angle except from the freshly destroyed front door. Ash went into a room on the left, Augustine to the one on the right. Augustine drew a blank before hearing a thud coming from the other room. He dashed across the hall to see Ash lying across the doorway with both of his hands to his head. Augustine jumped over his colleague and received a similar blow to the head. Staggering back, he grabbed the frame of the door to steady himself. The darkness was taking over his senses. Augustine thought he could see movement everywhere, flicking his eyes backwards and forwards from side to side. He stopped, controlled his breathing, and listened. Another breath in the room was evident, so Augustine jumped at it, tackling the owner of the breath to the ground. He felt a slashing across his chest, pulling his right arm across to protect himself and dull the pain. Augustine swung his left fist in the direction he was facing, connecting with something soft. A groan came back at him. Augustine repeated the action, flinging his left arm, fist clenched, as many times as he could before he ran out of puff. It connected 7 times, the last being followed by a bang as the person he was punching hit the ground. The pain in his chest was now stifling any further movement. The lights turned on. Gary surveyed the room in front of him. Augustine was laid in the fetal position, holding both his arms across his chest, rocking from side to side. Right under Gary's feet was Ash, rubbing his head and blinking furiously. Marcus Bright, the man that they had been trying to locate and question over the murder of his wife, was tied to a chair, with blood seeping from a wound on the side of his torso. And then, the man who looked remarkably like Marcus, but with a long shaggy beard, was laid on the floor between Marcus and Augustine. Gary called for an ambulance as he started to work his way around the room. He untied Marcus Bright. All the while, Marcus repeated the same sentences over and over to Gary. "He's my identical twin I didn't know I had. He killed Ellie. It's his DNA all over the crime scene. I have her birth certificate in that box." Gary used the chair to secure the bearded man with handcuffs and popped his head outside to see if the ambulances were there. When he saw the flashing lights of 4 ambulances, Gary relaxed. He knew that the people in this small room would all get the medical attention they needed. The chase was over.